Welcome to hell. There is no escape. There is no escape. You are in my control now. Welcome to hell.
They're coming here. They're waiting in the city. The peer around, buildings at night. And they'll take you one by one, and no one will hear you scream. No one will hear you scream.
Welcome to Hell, everybody, and welcome to Hell Team Doom for another episode of Let's Talk About Horror. It's your host, Walterdoom, back, and I am back with a new special guest today. Coming all the way from the East Coast, she is a craft maker, resin designer. Let's give it up for Desi. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's well, for the audience that probably won't know, it's a Sunday morning. I'm not used to being up this early. But you are all the way on the other side, so I was like, let me make sure we could get this collaboration done, because the audience don't know the backstory behind this. We had a
Right.
very interesting mix-up. Let's call it a mix-up.
That's funny. That's funny.
So I follow, well, you follow me. I think I followed you first, and we kind of connected on Instagram, had a brief conversation about what you do and why you do your page. And I thought it was interesting from what I've heard, which is going to be pretty much our topics for today. And I brought you onto the show. I asked you, could you come to the show, give us your story, talk about yourself a bit? And you said, yeah. So the funny thing, audience, the one thing that you should always do is always ask, hey, where are you located?
What's your time zone?
Funny thing. So we scheduled for like a Monday in the evening. Now, I'm all the ways in California. You're all the ways on the East Coast. And I'm like, all right, I'm at work. I'm thinking to myself, did I even get the location down? Like, are we on the same coast? So, funny thing, audience, while I was at work, I got a message. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Your question was, hey, so are we good? Because it's like 8:30 right now.
And I didn't want to seem rude, like push me or something.
Yeah.
Just text real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very funny moment for me, because at that moment I had that oh shit moment. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh
It
shit.
made me feel a certain way. Like so unprofessional of myself not to tell where I'm at,
Yeah. But either way, we made it happen. We're here today. And for all you guys that are listening out there, I am glad that you guys are here listening to this podcast. I appreciate every one of you that listen to the podcast, that take the time to listen, that also follow me on Instagram, that look at my stories, like my pictures, because this is all for the love of horror and all love for art, design, and just being a creator, So
Heck yeah.
yeah. So Desi, can you talk about yourself a little bit? Can you let us know what you do?
Well, I am a mother of 3 kids, which does have quite a bit to do with it. I'm from Germany.
Mhm.
We both work full time, me and my husband, and yeah, anxiety is a bitch. So art is
Yeah.
an outlet. I do not want to take medication for it because it does change you. You got to kind of learn to make that your bitch to a certain point. No, I'm serious. People give up too quick, I believe, and just try to take the easy way out. Now, some people have severe problems. Of course, they need help. But art, man, try it. It's so what's therapeutical.
Yeah. Yes. I actually did a poll on my Instagram page, and I asked like, people's feelings about art in general, and 100% of people agree like art is very therapeutic.
Yes. Yep.
And I think it's very therapeutic. Also, I used to while I was an art major in college, I used to do like drawing classes and what have you.
Yeah.
When I was in school, I had like this I would brief tangent real quick. So I had like this life drawing class. I would say was probably like the best class I've ever taken as an art student. And it's not just because like we were drawing naked people. I mean, of course, like it was it was great that we were drawing naked people. I was like, all right, free boobs, but what was great about that class is that the teacher made the class fun. He would play like all these different types of world music. He would be very charismatic. He would just be like joking around. Even with the models, he would be joking around. It like that class left a very lasting impression on me, and it really made me give like a huge appreciation for like certain people that love art and that do art.
You can tell like my sons come home and they're like, oh, my art teacher is a jerk. And I'm like, how the hell are you an art teacher and you're a jerk? Like you have so much freedom to make compared to like math. You just got to do your, curriculum, whatever. Art, okay, they have to learn this kind of structure, but you could put that structure literally on anything, you know what I mean? Or make it out of anything. So I'm like, no. That's just sad to me,
Yeah.
Like, how are you a jerk? And
I actually had a teacher that was a dick, like a very dickish art teacher. And I don't know whether it's because like maybe he wasn't satisfied that, now he's teaching design to students versus him being out there still in the world. Because I mean, obviously, some professors still do design, but they don't do it like on a full-time basis because they're doing teaching now.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether if it's like because he was upset with how his life has taken a turn, or if
probably
he's upset with something
people
outside.
Get stuck in that shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I refuse to be one of them. Like it's a daily struggle almost. Like even, with my husband, we've been together almost 15 years. It's like once that routine sets in, you gotta check yourself and do something. Even personally, you just because then you get destructive, I think, self-destructive.
Yeah.
And so you really gotta keep doing new things, even if they only last for a while. But I think that is a routine killer and it's just so important, Hence is why I make 28 different types of art, crafts, whatever. Art, that's not even a word. But
Since we're on the topic of all the art that you make, can you tell us some of the mediums that you use? Like what's your background and how long you've been using like the different types of mediums that you've been making?
Okay, well, I don't have a actual background, never took a class for anything. It's all self-taught, which is pretty cool, but trial and error. I do use a lot of resin, which it's fun, but that's trial and error for sure. Oh my god. And the dolls that I paint, they could be either porcelain or vinyl. As for what I can put on a doll or even a cup, it could be anywhere from just paint to latex to clay to I have a vinyl cutter too. Vinyl glitter, which I hate. I hate it.
Oh, I hate glitter too.
I hate it.
In my day job, the kids, they love to use glitter a lot. It gets everywhere.
My dog be covered in it. I'm like, damn.
Like the
But
worst part about glitter, it's like, even though it's like, yo, I'm coming from work, some people probably think you're coming from a strip club or something
Right.
with all the glitter that you got on yourself.
You're
Like,
all
no.
sparkly and shit. Yeah. I'm in some of these groups for the cups, and they all make the same shit. One person come out with a design, and it's all, look at my version, and they all look the same. So that kind of it bores my artistic whatever attention. And of course, I'm in horror, you know, so I try to make them creepy, and I do. But yeah, the glitter over there, oh my god.
Yeah.
But like, dang, I don't have one. So, you know, the skin is, I put that on cups too and cover it in resin with stitches and everything. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
probably my most, how can I do that? How can I achieve it, you know, make it look right? And it took me a good month to figure it out. And then one night it hit me, latex, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
the next day I tried it and it worked. And it looks like a freaking chopped off limb. And you're drinking it, you know? And so I posted that in the group, and it was like, I don't know how many likes and comments, but it was, oh, how'd you do that? And I'm like, no offense, I'm not telling, because I make this from the heart. Like, this satisfies my brain, and you guys, you know, you keep doing your mom is a freaking walk in the park cups, whatever. I don't do this so much for the money, but more because it's awesome, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not telling. Nope.
Yeah, I remember you saying like you do this like for like your anxiety. Can you kind of like go into a little bit about it? Like what got you started?
So anxiety is all about distracting your mind to get rid of it, you know, even momentarily. So yeah, if you're sitting there painting something, I used to paint canvases too for the dolls, but I don't have patience for that because it really, you gotta be so careful, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, but that's just, your focus is totally on something else. You have nothing else to think about, you're good. Your anxiety is gone. Because really, anxiety is a nuisance. And while it is horrible, and trust me, I've been there. I used to wake up 3 a.m. with a massive attack, having to go walk around the block, you know. I'm okay now. If my anxiety was gone tomorrow, I probably would not be the same person.
Yeah.
So while it's got me up here on a baseline, you know, and not all mellowed, yeah, like, you know, chill and stuff, I'm okay. It works in my favor, you know. But yeah, I just started drawing those canvases, and I noticed that it got better, something to focus on, and then the art just kind of evolved from there, the rest of it. So yeah,
Okay.
it's like an gas for my engine almost now. The
Okay.
anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe like if we all could kind of like find that healthy medium outside of like, you know, indulging into substances and all that, it would definitely help us out. I know for me, like for me, I've always been like trying to find like that healthy medium outside of like, you know, doing the partying and, you know, all that other wild stuff that, you know, everyone was doing. And just like for one day, I was like, you know what? I should start a podcast, but I don't know what I want to do a podcast on. And I've always had like a love for horror. It's crazy because like I want to say the most wild thing for me was just randomly watching a movie, or not, actually, it wasn't even watching a movie. It was watching a video about like do something that you love, do something that, you know, is creative that you want to talk about. And I don't know, for one day it just clicked, like, because I went from jumping to like, oh, you know what? I want to do a video game channel. I'm not that great in video games. I like playing them for fun.
You're
but
too
I am
old
not.
now, okay? Leave
Yeah.
it to these little shits upstairs, you know. For real.
Yeah. I'm just like, yo, I don't have like that much patience to be great at a game. I just like playing for fun. You know,
Yeah,
I don't care to be like the
not
best.
competitive.
Yeah. Then I wanted to go from games to books. And I was like, you know what? I should do a book channel. I'm not that fast of a reader.
Right. Right.
Like, if there's a book that's like about, I want to say 300 pages, it'll probably take me like a month and a half to finish.
Really?
Yeah, I'm that kind of a reader. I'm that slow when it comes to reading. I could say like the fastest I have ever finished a book was probably within a week. And I mean, that's probably like for some people they're like, oh well, that's nothing. Some people could do that for a week. But for me, that's an achievement.
Right, right. Yeah. Reading is time consuming. I mean, it's awesome, but it's also, I literally would not have time right now to get a book and actually sit down and read it. You know what I mean? And I think
Yes.
that's a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love books. I do.
I do too. Like, I want to say the last book I think I read was what was this last book I read? I can't even think of it right now. I know it wasn't like physical book I read. I think it was on this book called A Sellout.
Mhm.
And that took me, I want to say, a month to finish because I was just like, at first I was like into the book, but then it got to that middle part of the book. I don't know if you ever had this issue, but
Drag.
yeah, it drags in the middle.
Yep.
And then like once I got to the end, I was like, that's it. This,
Yeah.
this was very lackluster. Like,
Right. Damn, that sucks though. You spent all that time just to get. Yeah, I feel you on that. My last book was the Necronomicon, and I really had to reread a lot of it because yes, my English is good, but it's not my first language. So when reading something, it like I don't comprehend sometimes. Like I'll read it and I'm like, I'm not quite sure what all that just said, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
some parts I had to go back and yeah, but now I can say that I read the Necronomicon, you know, such a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our
So
8 books were good. Dungeons and Dragons when I was little. Hell yeah.
oh man. I feel like a lot of kids nowadays, they're very much exposed to books like that. Like they get first into like Harry Potter. It's
Mhm.
so crazy to me how this book has been standing the test of time because it's probably been around since maybe I was a kid. And I mean, that's kind of like showing off my age a little bit.
Eons ago.
Yeah.
I know.
But it's been the book that's been like standing the test of time. And it's like,
Yep.
you know, all the kids read it. I never read it. I've never been a Harry Potter fan. And it's so crazy when people hear me say that. They'd be like, you don't like Harry Potter? I'm like, nope.
I watched like 1 or 2 of them just you know to watch whatever, you know, to see it for what it is. But I'm not against it. I don't dislike it, but I'm not like stan Harry Potter. No.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a nerd though. I love Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Like, oh my god. Seriously. I'm Game of Thrones. If I could live in that kind of era, I totally 100% would. I need armor and a sword and a horse. This life is going to be serious. Or like the Middle Ages. I'm so drawn to that, just darkness and gloom of it all, you know.
Mhm.
That's probably 2 of my art why it's so dark, you know. But yeah, it's crazy how people lived back then. Or just, I don't know, all the executions and the swear. Like, bro,
you know what?
why?
You know, let's think about this for a moment. I'm having a very funny thought in my head. Think about like medieval times, but with today's technology.
That would
Imagine a beheading and people are just Instagramming that shit.
live streaming it. Yeah.
Like, hey y'all, at this beheading right now,
Right?
you just stole like a banana at the little shop.
Oh my god. So sad. Hey, but you know what? If we're not careful with who we put in power and whatnot, that shit is not far away. Like, I don't want to put politics into it. I really don't.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I'm telling you right now, as a German, and I don't care if my followers hear this, unfollow me. I don't give a shit. I stand by it. The fucking last 4 years had a World War II rhetoric, okay? I know the history of my country more than people here, okay?
Yeah.
Because I was interested in it. I kind of self-studied it, you know, for my own sake. And just the rhetoric, how it started, and the finger pointing, and the villainizing of Hispanics and Black people. Like, come on, man. That's how it started with the Jews. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. And like Trump or not, we have to be careful. Biden's not perfect. But that fascism shit, yo, The Handmaid's Tale too. If you've ever seen that, all right? Hence, you know, go in the kitchen and make babies, and that's it. Like, we need to be careful. We need to think about it. And we need to do it together, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna come for the opposites as much as they will come for us. And the opposite of us doesn't understand that. You know?
Yeah.
Enough of that.
Yeah.
That shit gets me triggered. So, yeah, very vocal on that.
And this is our brief moment of politics.
Yeah, sorry. I love everybody, you know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't be scared to go outside. We shouldn't be scared to have our kids driving because they're the wrong freaking color, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. I
feel for you. I do.
Yeah.
And you know, people point the finger at me too. Well, you can't say it like that. Well, how are we supposed to say it and let you know that, like, we feel for you? I'm, you know, seriously. And like I said, my kids are not white, and I cannot imagine what it feels like as a mother to be scared of my kids going outside.
Yeah.
And my kids just get punked. They don't get shot, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got really, I don't know. It's all fucked up.
Yeah.
Too much to say about all that.
Yeah. It's literally, it has to come at a change. I don't know what that change is. I don't have the answers, but I do know it definitely comes with more like dialogue and understanding, and just like hearing the stories and actually understanding where people are coming from instead of villainizing it as just, oh, well, I don't see that shit, so y'all making that up, you know, kind of thing.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
or if it's like on camera, you know, it's like, oh, well, maybe so and so did something to that person in order for that situation to happen. You know, because
we need to, you know, like, police brutality is wrong regardless of who it is put on. Okay.
Yep.
So it's happened to white people too, and you know that. But it always, it's not as, you see the white ass mass shooters getting fucking handcuffed and walk to the car.
Yeah.
All right. And that just speaks. Okay, January 6th, they stormed the motherfucking capital of the United States of America.
Yeah.
Last year, did you see last year when people went protesting in DC? How many freaking cops they had standing on the Capitol stairs, shoulder to shoulder? Yeah, why? Because it was Black people. You know, you can't deny this shit. Like, it makes me mad. It pisses me off, and I'm speaking as somebody from the outside. I'm not native to the country, and I see this shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you deny it, and how can it keep happening? Sometimes shit is justified. Sometimes it is, you know. I try to be fair, but like, come on, man. Nah.
It's not. It's not. Majority of the police brutality that happens is very unjust.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
And funny thing, I had a funny conversation with someone about this too. I was like, yeah, so if it was like people that were my race storming the Capitol, I bet you it would have already been no hesitance, guns drawn. It just would have been duck hunting season right then and there, you know?
100%, like, no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm speechless on how it is so clearly out there. And or now Georgia, the freaking, so I think Black people won Biden the election, okay?
Oh yeah.
They went out and they voted, so he needs to get his ass in gear too. Now they got what? Voter restrictions in Georgia? What? Like, what kind of Jim Crow shit is that, you know?
Yeah.
I wish for Black people, keep pushing. Like, don't sit down right now. Do not, because y'all got momentum right now. We're here. A lot of us are here with you guys, and yeah, like, no, keep going. Keep, like, y'all flip Georgia blue. That's crazy. That's historical, and they got fucking mad and they didn't like it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we got to keep at it.
Yep. I love every bit of it.
Damn
All right.
straight.
But moving away from that,
Yeah,
because we
no
got on the
kidding.
huge tangent. But going back to more of the art. So what do you say you draw your inspiration from whenever you start like creating anything that you create? Like, what is the process of that?
Okay, so when I see a doll, see the face, I usually get an idea, like, I could do that to this doll, rip
Mm-hmm.
its eyeballs out or staple the head. You just see a vision, kind of, lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So, but I've made, like, no kidding, probably $800 these last few years. I'm like dolled out, and now I look at them and I get nothing. So, I'm not kidding. So now I'm just trying to work kind of different things. Like, I've been skinning all this stuff, candles, the mask, the lampshades, to get a break from that. And I'm trying to circle back to the dolls because it's almost Halloween. I
Yeah.
have to.
Oh yeah. Halloween is around the corner.
Yes, and I have the big convention I'm going to in September, the Monster Mania Con.
Mhm.
So that's packed. That is a big one. And I don't want to make stuff that is half-assed. So if I
Yeah.
need another week or two, I'm just gonna walk away from the dolls again and then something else.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's usually I see something and I can see, potential. Yeah. And cups,
Okay.
whatever you want on it, whatever I want on it. It can literally be anything, say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as
Love
far as
it.
the latex, I've been asking people, what should I skin next? And they tell me,
Mm,
make me a Zippo lighter. So I did, or a baseball, or just whatever.
yeah.
Like suggestions.
You
Yeah.
know what? You have an interesting story about Facebook. I want you to kind of tell that story for a little bit because we talked about it before we started
All
recording,
right.
and I thought this was an interesting story to talk about.
It's funny, but it's not, Right. So it's the story about the holly jolly elf on the shelf people. So I bought like 50 knockoff elves from China, right?
Mhm.
And I changed their face with clay. They look like goblins. And I
Yeah.
posted them on Etsy, and back then I was new, so I put a creepy elf on the shelf, and they took it down, said copyright. I said, oh, true, my bad, didn't even think about that, honest mistake.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just stopped posting them all together. So I put them on Facebook as creepy elf, creepy Christmas elf, whatever.
Yeah.
So one day I got a notification on Mercari. My listing was taken down, and Facebook, and it was the elf people, and they banned me. Facebook banned me from my 11 or 12-year-old Facebook account for posting some creepy ass elves that weren't even theirs,
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I lost my Facebook account that I had. My kids' baby pictures, everything. They're bad.
Oh.
They will come get you. Like, everyone's talking about Disney and shit. Nah, fucking elf people is where it's at.
Honestly,
Jolly jolly my ass, Yeah.
I feel like people on Facebook, they're a whole new breed of people.
Yeah.
like they are quick to just like take whatever you have down if they
Mhm.
don't like it,
Yeah.
So
It's ridiculous. So I finally was able to make a new one though with a
Mhm.
new phone. Cause
Yeah.
screw them. Now I got a fucking Instagram live block. It's going on 3 weeks now. And the only thing I posted was a Jeffrey Dahmer shirt that I made. And it says you can't yeah, no shit. It says if you can't beat them, eat them. And boom. Like,
That's hilarious.
but people post serial killer shit all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh my God, how's mine different? Why am I always on the shit list? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just
They're
in the
not
seat
ready.
no more.
That's what it is.
But the shirt sold, you know.
All right. So before we go into our first break, I want to kind of talk about like some of the pieces that you made. So,
Okay.
what is the best piece that you've worked on so far?
Probably they all turn into the same piece. The cups with the skin texture. Because
Okay.
that really took thinking, and it wasn't me looking, getting ideas or inspiration somewhere else per se, or all work is copied somehow and turned into your own kind of thing, whatever,
Yeah.
or styles for that matter. But yeah, that I have never seen a cup like that, and I was really and still am proud how they turned out because they look freaking disgusting and realistic,
Yeah. Yeah.
they do. And I sold quite a few of them, but a lot of stuff, pictures doesn't do justice. So I'm just gonna have to sell a lot of things in person too. But
Yeah.
that was my, oh my God, I made this. It's so cool. Look at it. Ran
Yeah.
upstairs, woke up my husband. Look, and he said
I
that
know
he
he was
was
probably
good.
half asleep, like, oh my God, what do you want?
Oh, he was. He's like, yeah, it's cool. I'm like, I know. Yeah. So that was probably because anybody can paint a doll,
Yeah, yeah.
That's not fancy. The lampshades are cool too, though. Yeah, but the cup, I will say, because then it worked too with the resin. Put
Mhm.
that on there, like it all worked out, and yeah, that was my favorite creation of things, definitely.
All right, all right.
Pumpkin.
Yeah. So before we go and take a break real quick, can you tell the audience where they could find you?
Instagram at Deezayas Creep Shop, maybe DeezayasCreepshop. Yeah.
Yep, yeah.
And my Etsy is in there, so yeah. And whatever you want, I can make it. Pretty much got a big arsenal of things.
Yep. Actually, I noticed you did like these skulls the other day that were kind of like made into cups. Um
Flower planters.
yeah, those
Yeah.
look so dope. If
They're
you
3D
guys,
printed.
yes, 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 they were. They were 3D printed. And I was looking at them. I was like, oh, this is so dope because I was they look good as like the skulls. I mean, everybody likes skulls, but it's the color. The colors is what kind of
Yes.
draw me.
The
Because it
rainbow silky filament. It's like I'm
yes.
not into super like neon and stuff, but they look good. I
Yeah,
like them.
neither am I. I'm like just to see that little neon color, how it came out. I was like, that is some dope ass coloring for that. Like, I can't see him as anything else.
Yeah. I have black and I'm like, yeah, keep them tiny. Yup.
Yep. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go ahead and take a break real quick. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Desi about some fear and perseverance. So, like you said, yeah. I know this sounds like a very heavy show. So, like you should say in a scary movie, I'll be right back. All right, and we are back now, and I am back with Desi as we are now going to talk about a very interesting topic. So the other day before we started this podcast, I noticed on your Instagram page that you posted something about fear. So I thought this was like a very interesting topic to bring up because horror is always about fear.
Yes, it is.
Like Jason, the fear of like sex and all that, sex, drugs, if you do any of that stuff, some monster disguised as some kind of disease is gonna kill you. Or if it's like it follows, it's literally a sexually transmitted disease that's gonna kill you.
That is scary.
Or like some of the hostile movies, the fear of being kidnapped into a foreign
That's scary,
country.
and I think that shit is real over there. Like,
Oh,
you have no
yeah.
idea, man.
Oh yeah. Honestly,
Definitely.
I could see what happened in Hostel 2 happening in real life where people are
Yeah.
being kidnapped, being
And
used
who's
in the
gonna
black
look over
market.
there
Yeah.
in the European East Bloc? Hell no, that's just one big ass ghetto, generally speaking, and the sex industry is so big over there. And I think it kind of goes from like regulated stuff to not so regulated, and a lot of gray and fuzzy lines, and people, even Berlin city, my capital, people
Yeah.
waking up with their kidneys missing at the border of Poland, like what? So yeah. But my biggest fear is heights.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't overcome it. I do go, like I said in that post, I have to get drugged up to go on a plane. But I do it. I go to the doctor and I say, hey, I need something, take the edge off. And they're like, here's some lorazepam, 2 of them. So I get a
Mhm.
prescription for 2, one for the way there, one for the way back. But the whole time on the plane, I'm like freaking out, and my husband's next to me. How can you relax? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
kids even love to fly, and I'm like, y'all are sick. Like, flying is cool because it connects us to the world so quick. Like, it's amazing, the technology. I'm not even scared of crashing or people. Oh, I'm scared of terrorists. No, I'm scared of heights.
So what's the scary part about heights? Like, what about heights that freak you out?
See, I don't know, because I used to be, when I was younger and we would fly, I was fine. And the older I got, the worse it got. It's probably irrational, but every time I get somewhere higher, it's like I start panicking. And even if I try to, okay, you're good, the floor starts moving. Like, I get physical effects from it too. And it just, instead of dealing with it, I don't have to fucking deal with it. I just don't do it,
Yeah.
Same with oceans. Like, I do not go in open waters. So I made another post. What kind of genre of horror is the most scary? To me, it's the most realistic horror is scary.
Mhm.
Jason's not real. I could beat him, I think, because he's slow. You know what I mean? He's slow. He's running, he's just walking, whatever. I got that. But where they get stranded in the ocean, that shit is scary, and it happens, and they're just dangling there getting ate by sharks piece to piece. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
not getting out of that's just freaks me out. Or the guy that got stuck in the Nutty Putty cave in Nevada, I think it was.
Mhm.
Did you hear about that? He was head down in a crevice. He couldn't exhale his chest. They couldn't
Yeah.
get him out. He died there. Like, can you imagine that claustrophobia he had?
Oh my God, no.
He stuck there. And that's why maybe exploration wise, I'm a bit boring. Like, I don't like, nope, I'm not gonna do that.
So you're not
And
gonna take a
ocean-
trip to the woods like the Blair Witch or anything like that.
That I probably would if it's daylight. And that is actually only 2 hours away from here where they filmed it.
Oh,
But
nice.
it's just the town, and people are annoyed. Like, they have all like these tourists coming, But that would make for a nice little video, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ocean is deep. I'm a good swimmer, but I could freak myself out in a pool. Oh, there's something under me. Like, no, it geeks me out. And yeah, the number one on that video was bugs. Definitely.
Bugs. Oh yeah. See me, that's my fear right there that I actually had to overcome, which I did overcome eventually, because now it's like any spider I see, I'm just killing it on sight. I'm like, nope, you're not getting away from me. You're not living. But
That's
bugs was definitely my fear. And I think the biggest fear for me about bugs was just like, I don't know, it was just like they're creepy, they're crawly, and just like if you get bit, it's like it's a wrap. Like either you'll end up with like this big ass bump on your face, or if it's poisonous, you might die
Yeah.
from it.
Or
You know.
spider babies coming out of your face from the
Oh
bite
my
of
god,
laying
that
an
would
egg,
be
like,
so disgusting.
and it happens, man. Like, yeah, bugs are those centipedes. I don't know if you guys have them over there, but here, the basements, like, they have these big centipedes, man. House
Oh,
centipede, whatever. They're like 20-legged spiders, and they can go like 10 miles an hour, and they are fucking disgusting. And they bite, and they freak me out more than spiders. Like, spiders at least have a use, and they're not really out to get you. You know what I mean?
yeah, majority of them aren't.
Right, but still, can you please go outside? Like, I'm not, I don't like it. I don't like them either. But they made number 3 on my list, spiders.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know the day I had to overcome that fear, I was just like, okay, I am glad I'm done because literally I will be if there was like a spider in my room and if it was like late at night and there's a spider in my room, I will literally be up till like almost like 3 o'clock in the morning trying to
I
figure
would.
out how to
Yeah.
kill this spider, how to get rid of it.
I know, because you're scared if you go at it, it's gonna jump in your face, right?
Yep,
I feel you.
yeah,
Yes, yep, that's me.
yeah.
6 foot, man. It sucks.
Like, and it's always so annoying. Like whenever they're like on the ceiling, I'll just be looking at the spider like, really?
Yeah,
Like out of all the places, like you could be on the wall where I can see you at eye level.
right. Now
You're
you
right
got me
there.
all up there in the corner where I can't even hit you, and
Oh yeah.
then I hit you and you fall between the freaking closet. I know, I know, I know exactly what you mean.
I think that's like the most annoying thing is like when they fall and it's like carpet in my room. They fall and it sucks because like the carpet blends with the spider.
That's burn the house down.
Like the whole house has to go, you know?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
We almost had that, man. The apartment we lived in before we bought this house, this lady moved in upstairs and she had roaches, right?
Oh, that's another hate.
The fucking German roaches, they're like the hardest to get rid of. So a week after she moved in, guess who had roaches too? Us, you
Oh
know?
man.
So we're like trying to fight them, battle them, this and that. Nothing worked. So when it was time to move here, I vacuum sealed everything because they can live without their head for like, roaches are crazy. They're kind of
Yeah.
amazing, you know. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
hear like they could survive if there was like a nuclear war.
yeah,
You know, they
they'll
could
be
survive
fine.
they'll survive a nuclear war.
Yes, and
I
they have
do
no
not
use
want
though. They
I do
have
not
no use.
they don't. They don't. I do not want anything that could survive a nuclear war in my house. Why would I
Yeah.
want that shit?
Exactly. I'm good. Ugh. There's like so many of them. But yeah, we moved here, and 3 months later, we had roach babies, and they were in the kitchen, localized. It's still disgusting, but we would take care of it, you know, and then we'd be good for a while till a new egg hatched, and I finally got a pest control, so
Mhm.
they were gone. But still, it's disgusting. You just turn on the light, and it wasn't like bad, you know, but still, you see one roach, no shit, you have at least 100.
Oh my god.
So, but I preferred them to spiders. If that would have been spiders, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Roaches have this whole stigma too, you know, but they're disgusting, I guess, depending where they come from, whatever. But
Yeah.
they're just moochers. They just want to eat and drink and make babies. That's it.
Sound like a
And
person.
yeah, bunch of Freds and Bobs and Laurels, you know. Nah, but bugs, yeah, they gotta just don't be in the house. And I don't like to kill anything, but just don't be in my house. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah.
That's
So kind of going back to the Instagram page. So I know you kind of asked like some of your audience like what was their fears. I kind of did the same thing too for my page. What were some of the fears that you've heard that people came up with that was like interesting to you, or just like, I don't know, you were just like, that's a very funny fear to kind of have, or you know, just like what's some of the fears you heard?
It wasn't on that post because, like I said, that was mostly like, yeah, heights, water, and bugs too. But I know somebody that's afraid of watermelon. They just get geeked out by watermelons. Yeah, man, that shit is creepy. It's just weird. And I'm like, have you ever tried it? No, they are scared of watermelons.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and watermelon is so good. Like if it was cantaloupe, I would understand. That shit is nasty.
Like you have a right to be afraid of cantaloupe, but not watermelon.
Not watermelon, right? Yeah, it's a lot of people's biggest fear is disappointing themselves too.
Oh yeah.
You have like deep conversations with people, or one of my biggest fears too. I had like cancer 4 years ago. It was like borderline. It wasn't bad. I wasn't dying or anything, but it did need surgery. And it was just welting away in my bed of cancer while my kids were still little. That
Yeah.
I don't want to go like that. That is one of my fears, definitely, that I don't try to think about a lot, or that it doesn't come up every day, but it's scary, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you're dying every day.
I think that's a lot of people's fear, you know. It's just like dying before you ever get anything accomplished, or dying before like, you know, your time, and you know, you don't get to really see like your children grow up or accomplish the things you want to accomplish. Because I would think that's like a lot of people's fear. I know that's some of my fears too, you know, because it's like, yo, like we want to actually feel like when it's our time to go, we actually accomplish something. Like we could say like, well, I did this thing, I left this type of mark on the world, and you know, I am grateful for that. So yes, this is my time to go and I am ready for it, you know?
Right. But then in the end, does it really matter if we left a mark on the world, you know, or is it just something that society kind of tells us to think, you know what I mean?
It is societal. It definitely is societal.
I think in the end, I would be like, I like myself. I don't know if a lot of people can say that, you know, I could give myself a hug. I'm okay with myself for the most part. Of course, I'm flawed as anybody else is, but I just want to, when I die, know that I lived an okay life. I wasn't rich, but I wasn't poor. You know, have that kind of, the glass was always half full kind of thing. And a lot of people are the glass is half empty. And I think if people kind of change their perspective on stuff like that, the world would be a better place. Not everywhere. Because a lot of places that fucking glass is empty. And they need some of ours, you know what I mean? And we're not giving it. So always be happy with what you have and what you did, and not what you didn't do, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sound like a wise person sometimes. I don't know. It's weird, but I'm not even 40 yet, you know, but I grew up a lot this last like 5 years.
Yeah.
Sorry. Keep notifications. But yeah, it's I don't know. That would be my advice to people, like, be happy, be content, find some beauty in each day, something nice, and stop and slow down sometimes and look at stuff and people, you know.
You know what? I think with the pandemic, that kind of helped me out, like just like examining things in my own like real life that's outside of like just this podcast or Instagram lifestyle. You know, I'm calling it a lifestyle. Like I'm living on this shit. Right. I'll live on this shit.
Podcast life.
I know I'm like in here opening doors with this podcast life. Like,
right. That's a hashtag right there.
Right. But yeah, I feel like the pandemic really taught me how to like really examine the things that I really want out of life, examine the people that is around me, and kind of like just retrain my brain a bit on what's important for me, you know?
Yeah.
Because
were you at home?
Yeah, basically. So for me, I mean, just like everyone else, I'm not a perfect person, you know. I made mistakes in life too. And, you know, for me, you know, I've always been kind of like, for the past few years, it's been kind of like a downward spiral, and just kind of like feeling hopeless about like things that have happened. But since the pandemic, I had to sit down and think to myself, like, why am I feeling this way?
Hate yourself. Yeah.
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 And it's like it took like a bit of like just restructuring. I mean, some of it happened before the pandemic, but
Yeah.
I feel like the pandemic kind of like pushed it even more so
Mhm.
than like years before.
Yeah,
So
because you had nothing but time,
yeah,
to sit
yeah,
there, and that's when idle hands are the devil's tools, be it mental or physical. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah, but that's good that that happened. Also, I think with age that comes to certain people. You know,
yeah, yeah.
there's yeah, and nobody's perfect, and I think we should start. Of course, you don't have to like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, but like my husband, he's not perfect. I used to sit there, oh my God, I'm having anxiety attack, and you're fine. That's it. But that's how he is. That doesn't mean that he doesn't care, but
Mm-hmm.
he's that's just genuinely how he is. We're not all lovey-dovey all the time. We're not, but
Oh
I
yeah.
am gonna grow old with him, and I've instead of why don't you just sit there and talk me through my attack? Yeah, like that all teaches or taught me, nobody has you like you do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I think now I'm happier with everything around me and accepting of his imperfections and mine, and and it works, and it's so harmonious now to a point. There's still stuff we got to work on, like we yell at the kids a lot, but we don't hit them, okay?
Yeah.
So there's a difference. I yell because I don't want to hit, because I
Mm-hmm.
just don't like that. And plus, they're too damn big over there. Can't use them. Like, they're like grown ass men. But so that's the kind of stuff I want to just work on a little bit more. Just sometimes you gotta yell, but it's yeah. With me and him, it's been better since I become more accepting, and just he's started coming down here helping me, which is big because I almost need a second person. That's how busy I get sometimes. He built everything down here, the desk, everything, the whole setup. He
Yeah.
checks my boxes for me, so he's very supportive. And that's what you got to look at.
Yeah, that's very important. And it's funny to me. Well, not funny, but it's like it's weird to me that I feel like there's this obsession with like people around my age or your age or just like younger and older, because honestly, some people they don't get it sometimes, is
Right.
that they try and look for perfection all the time in a relationship. And it's like sometimes you don't need perfection. You need to
Right.
find somebody you could work with, could build with, and kind of like, help each other become better people. You won't be perfect people, but you'll be
Exactly.
better people in a sense with each
Yep.
other.
And people show like their love in different ways. Like I
Yeah.
said, we're not like, oh, but he built me all the shit. That's love right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But not everybody sees it that way. So
Yeah, I think that's my biggest thing has always been, and I've always stated this, and I feel like my podcast always comes back to it, is that relationship gurus are the devil. Like
yeah,
those people that just go on social media, go on YouTube or just anything,
right.
and they're giving like these cookie cutter relationship advice.
Yeah, there's no such a thing. Like everybody's different, everybody vibes different, you know what I mean? But yeah, people just need to look at not just the big picture, but the small, the devil's in the details.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because
That's
it's like you could like one thing I don't like is like when someone comes in and home wrecks a relationship, you know, like, and it's so trashy because it's like you're gonna sit there, you're gonna spectate from the sidelines and try and like plan and plot some way to take somebody out of a current relationship that they're in
right.
because you feel like they belong to you. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense to me. It's selfish. It's
That
disgusting.
karma is a bitch right there too, though. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's like,
Definitely.
and it's trashy when like that person, kind of falls for that, and they just like, well, you know what? I give up on my relationship. You know what? I want to see what it's like to be with this person, this, that, and the
Right.
other. Now take it like we may not know all the intricate details. Maybe there is some bad stuff that's happening in the relationship. Maybe like the person that person is with is being abused some type of way.
Right. Right. That's different.
Yeah, that's different. But I'm saying like some people that are in like the best possible situation that they're in, but they get some outside person telling them you're not in the best situation that
Mhm.
you're in. You need to leave that person and leave them for me.
Yep. They're dumb enough to listen. Yeah.
Yeah. So I despise like stuff like that. And I despise just the relationship gurus. And I hope this is the last time I ever mention this back on my podcast ever again.
That's funny, but it's true. Yeah. He did not look at you. He does not love you. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh man. So going back to our conversation about fears and persevering, what movie do you find inspirational? Not necessarily a horror movie, but just like any movie in general. Like, have you ever ran into a movie that's inspirational? Since this is kind of like a horror network and what have you.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Like inspirational. There's a lot of great movies out there, and I find like now I'm going back watching a lot of old movies. Like we watched Private Ryan the other day. That shit
Mhm.
hits different now that I'm older. You know. Yeah, I'm serious. And a lot. So just the whole character, all the characters in that movie. The one guy
Mhm.
that didn't let his friend, he didn't stop the guy from stabbing his friend, and he
Yeah.
was just so conflicted. And just, I like to see that kind of stuff, you know, good characters. But like direct inspiration, no, get that
Mhm.
more from like maybe people around me or myself, you
Yeah.
know. Um, yeah, and scary movies, while I love them, I haven't even seen a good one in a while.
Mhm.
The last good one I saw to me was what, Green Inferno, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, the
I love
Eli
that
Roth
movie.
film.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, where
with
they're
the where they crash and they get eaten.
yep, yep,
I
yep.
love that. And that one, Cannibal Holocaust doesn't have shit on that movie. Like
You
that
know
movie was
what? No.
shock factor. Ooh. Like nothing shocks me movie wise. Seriously. And I even watched a Serbian film, and
I
everyone
was
was like,
just about to ask you that because this is that one film I fucking hate it because it's that one film that everybody talks about. They be like, "Have you watched a Serbian film? Have you watched a Serbian film?" I'm
I
like,
mean, the part with the baby is obviously not real.
"Yeah,
Like you can see, and I found the end worse, where it's his actual son,
yeah, yeah,
but it wasn't so graphic. Okay, that's sick. Move on.
yeah."
Like,
I mean, it's
not
disturbing.
that I'm obviously for any of that. Like,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
kill somebody if I knew they, you know.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
it was just like overkill, shock factor.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of boring. I don't know. I got nothing from that. And you know, Jason and Michael and Freddie, I of course they're like cult classics, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
they're kind of boring too.
yeah.
It's always the same. And I watch them all every year. You know, I like Wrong Turn, part 1 and 2.
Okay.
Again, because the woods are big and you don't know what you're gonna find. And there is some people inbred families. But yeah, I like that. I like Jaws. That shit is scary again. Feet dangling in the
Oh
water.
yeah.
Sharks are
I
real. They
think
can
that
make
would
them.
hit your fear more than anything else.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or The Strangers. That was kind of creepy.
Oh yeah, that one was based on a true story.
Yep.
The I believe the writer, he said it was based on like a true story about events that's happened, not necessarily like what happened in the movie,
Right.
but like
Yeah.
inspired by stuff that was happening,
Yep.
around their neighborhood that brought the inspiration for this movie, which is
Yeah.
scary.
It is.
Honestly,
I mean, home invasion. That's scary shit.
yeah,
You know.
that's scary
And
for anybody. Honestly,
yeah. And there was one. It was German, but they made it into an American version. I forget what it is. Playtime. Something is two guys. They do a home invasion on like a house by the beach somewhere, and there's a kid there too. I forget what it's called, but they get away and then they catch them again and they just fuck them all up. And that just anything with kids that's realistic looking and the sounds, the noises, and just hearing them scream.
oh
No.
yeah. Have you ever watched the movie I Spit on Your Grave, like the
Yeah.
1970s version of it?
No, I don't think I saw the old one.
Oh my god, that movie. If you saw that one, if you thought like the remake was crazy, the original is it's graphic. Like, it's graphic because it actually looks like they were actually abusing that woman on set, and we were looking at like a literal abuse film that's being staged
Yeah.
as a scary movie.
See, the second anything turns real, I'm not. Like somebody one day came to their house and they're like, "Hey, watch this shit." I think it was my brother-in-law, and he
Mhm.
showed me a fucking beheading video, and from the Middle East, and I'm like, turn it off. Like, I don't want to hear that, man.
Yeah.
What? No, like that shit is. And why would you want to watch that?
I don't know. Like, I don't understand like why people want to watch stuff like that. It's not really interesting, but it's like it
No.
intrigues me to wonder like what why would you want to watch something like that?
Right,
But
came across one. It was the cartels. They had like 5 women, and they literally chopped them up into like. And then once you start watching, you almost can't like look away. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm again like now I'm getting older, and the real shit is giving me like I don't know. That doesn't make me feel good. I don't like to. That's somebody's mom, or some whatever.
Oh
Some
yeah,
people
yeah.
deserve it, but you didn't know. That shit should not be online
Yeah.
at all.
You know what? It's crazy because I went to the Museum of Death because we got that out here, and some of the exhibits talk about like how people got killed. There's literally like a video where you see people just like get fucked up, like seriously fucked up badly, you know. And I forget why they have that video, but it was talking about something dealing with violence and what have you, obviously. But yeah, I only been to that museum once. I'll probably go back again, but I mean, yeah, in the heart of Hollywood.
Very nice.
It is there.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just another good movie. I just rewatched Braveheart.
Oh, okay.
And that's almost inspirational because like nobody barely fights for anything they believe in anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So okay, to come back to it. Last year, all the marches, that was nice to see. Like, that's it, we're done, we're doing this,
Mhm.
And yes, do it. Like, that's what I mean. And so did they in that movie, and that really happened that way. He really actually got executed that way. And when he screams freedom in the end, oh my God. Like, fuck you to the end, Like, that was some gangster shit right there. He went out believing what he fought for. So that's inspirational. And we're all a bunch of pussies anymore nowadays.
Yeah.
We are. Think about it. Yeah, I kind of stand for this, but I'm just gonna go home and watch TV. Watch Bob's Burger.
Bob's Burger.
I love that show.
I love that show too. Whenever I watch it, it's always enjoyable.
Yes.
It kind of comes back to a conversation I had with like one of my coworkers in my real world. In the real world, people,
not the podcast life.
Not the podcast life, in the podcast life, I'm a rich millionaire that got like 50 dozen hookers on standby.
So how much you paying for them, huh?
No, but in real life,
Right.
But I was talking to a coworker and we were talking about like the change of generations and just how like, a lot of things is pretty much different from what it was like 10, 20 years ago, like 10, 20 years ago, there were people that could just say a bunch of homophobic slurs and what have you, maybe sometimes not necessarily to like somebody that's
Mhm.
homosexual, but
Mhm.
they just threw it around because that was the thing
Yeah,
to do,
because they could.
or use words like the R word that, talks about like, mentally disabled people. They used to throw that word around about like everybody,
Yeah.
but now we've come to a time where we're put on notice like, yo, this is not socially acceptable. And this is definitely offensive to anybody that hears it, whether you're
Yep.
talking about that person or not.
Mhm. Yep.
You know, I am, one that's guilty of using slurs like that, back in my time, but I don't use those slurs anymore because I'm like, well, that's not the right word to use,
Right. Right.
because if I say this to, you know, somebody, even though I'm not talking about them specifically
No,
being
I know
that,
what you mean. I know exactly.
yeah,
And one of the best examples, oh, that's gay.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, yeah,
And one of our good friends, he's, homosexual. He's a grown ass man. He was married. And it would slip around him and he wouldn't say anything, but like we're real cool with each other. So he wasn't like, oh, I'm offended. But
yeah,
I'm like, Steve, I know I said that, but he's like, well, you're making a thing out of it. But it is stupid to say because what's gay about it? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. You're
And
literally
I tell
saying
him,
like gay is like bad. And that's
"Mhm,
literally like what someone
right,
like explained to me, like, well, when you say stuff like that, you're saying that being gay is bad. And I'm like, but I don't think being gay is bad. And they're like, yeah, we know that. Well, I know that you don't mean that. But
right,
if you were to say it, it's being used as if you're saying it's bad,
as a negative. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it made
that's
sense to
true.
me. I was like, oh,
It
you know
does.
what? You taught me something, you
Yep.
know? And I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that needs to happen. Just like it needs to keep going. Like we need to keep having those conversations like that.
We do.
And it's like I mentioned to you earlier, it's like, well, off camera, like if we keep continuing like these dialogues about just like everything, understanding, we could stop taking that stigma of like, you know, somebody being different from us as a negative connotation. We'll
Right.
see it as like a
Right.
social norm. Because coming
Yeah.
back to said coworker, I told them like, well, you know what? These kids are gonna grow up seeing somebody that's like homosexual or seeing somebody that is kind of like with a mental or physical
Yeah.
disorder, and they're gonna see it as like, well, this is like normal. They're different from me. They're born different.
Right.
That's just the way they were born.
Right.
Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. That's just the way they were born.
Yeah, that's
No,
true in that, but that starts at home, you
it
know?
does. It definitely starts at home. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for today. So I want to thank you, Desi, for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is a very fun conversation.
Yeah, I got kind of off track for a second with the politics, but hey, if I'm gonna have a second, or a chance to speak, like I want to be heard too,
Yep,
honestly.
yep,
Not everybody's gonna like it, but it's any kind of platform. Like I said, I know enough about it to I could be out there doing stuff and helping out more, but I can't. I cannot. I
yeah,
can't. They've
yeah.
picked up activists and fucking sent them home. I know they have. And yeah, there's just a lot to say. And I think, I love and hate everybody the same, but it has
Hmm.
nothing to do with where you're from or what you look like or what you smell like or anything like actions, man, and respect. That's it,
Yep,
you know.
yep.
So I think a lot of people should step back for a second. Like this neighbor we have, he has I don't know how many Trump flags in this big display with lights, and it's dude, get over it. Do you need a hug? Like, it's okay. You feel what we felt 4 years ago. I understand how you feel, but they're nasty about it, And
Yeah.
that's just one example. But people just need to chill the fuck out a little bit because you know what? Nobody in DC cares about us collectively. So in the end, joke's on us. You know what I mean? They don't give a shit.
Yep.
They don't. And yet we're here like battling each other over some bullshit. So that's sad.
Yep, it definitely is.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
So once again, can you tell us your social media where my audience could find you?
Okay, I'll spell it again. It's at Deezayas Creep Shop. DeezayasCreepshop.
All right. And yeah, you guys definitely check her stuff out. She makes some pretty cool. Pretty cool. I know. Now I can't talk now. She makes some pretty cool designs, pretty cool resin art, pretty cool mugs, cups and everything. Check out some of the 3D designs that she have done. I'm telling you guys gotta check out that skeleton. Like, it is fucking amazing. Like,
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks
You
again.
have the rest of your day.
All right, you too, Desi.
Okay.
All right, so audience, I will be right back for the Slasher Corner. And we are back, everyone, and we are now back with the Slasher Corner. And as you guys know, I always have a slasher movie of the week. And this week, I want to suggest to you guys, well, this is maybe not a slasher, and even though it's not a slasher, it is definitely a horror movie. So everybody, just go watch The Conjuring. Like, seriously, is there any other movie that you guys need to watch right now beyond that? I mean, even if you're not a fan of it, just watch it. As everybody know, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is out. Check it out. Go ahead, watch it. Tell me how much you like it. Tell me how much you hate it. Do whatever you want with it. But other than that, I am going to sign out for today. If you guys want to follow me, those social medias are Walterdoom on Instagram, Walterdoom1 on Twitter, and Walterdoom on everything else streaming. And as you guys know, this has been another episode of Let's Talk About Horror. This is America. Don't let them catch you slipping out. Stay diabolical, people.